Woohoo! It's Finish My Story, where we try to tell narratively complex stories one line at a time. Hey, we're here. We're back.
Very excited.
We're excited. Can you
Peter's
tell?
very excited.
Only me. Cameron's dead, obviously.
Inside.
That's right. I'm a ghost.
See, she took Halloween very seriously.
Yep.
And
Made myself an actual ghost.
Method actors.
It's exciting. But we've been gone for a while. I'm sorry if you're waiting for a weekly podcast and you're like, what happened? It's like, well, shit happened. Life happened. Deal with it.
Life and death.
Asshole.
Happen.
Yeah,
Stop.
becoming a ghost takes a
Jerk.
lot of effort and
Yeah.
time.
How can we insult our listeners more? Fuck you.
Ouch, Peter.
Moving on. We're back. We're back to a more regularly scheduled program. And we're here. Hey guys, introduce yourselves, because we haven't yet.
Well, I'm John, or Jonathan. I'm a screenwriter and a comedian at times. Not all the time. Like now.
And I am Cameron. I am a writer / actor / ghost. And that's who I am.
And I'm Peter, and I'm an improv actor / writer, I guess. And what we're going to do...
pre-ghost.
Wait, is there something I don't know that's going to happen
Well,
today?
we're all pre-ghosts technically, so...
True. Unless we don't ever die.
Well,
And we're the Highlanders.
I mean, I don't ever plan on dying, and so far, so good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my one goal in life, is to not die.
Well, you've failed because
Yeah.
you were a ghost.
Yeah. You're right. I am
Well, that's
a
why
ghost.
she's back. She has unfinished business to keep living.
Yes.
So what we do here at Finish My Story is we try to tell narratively complex stories.
One line.
At a time.
And before we do that, let's just catch up. It's been months, so we've all done a ton of things. John bungee jumped from the top of the St. Louis Arch. Cameron went to shark fishing off the coast of Australia, and I slept a lot. And that's it. Now
Well,
you're caught up.
Sharks don't sleep.
It's-
Is that why you made that connection? That
Yeah.
she was seeing
Yeah.
sharks.
Exactly.
And then you didn't sleep.
I did sleep. I slept a
Oh,
lot.
you did
That's the
sleep.
point.
I'm sorry. It's all that
That's
time
the
being
point.
a being a ghost.
Cameron was swimming with the sharks. I
Uh-huh.
was running with the wolves. And Peter was sleeping with the stuffed animal.
Hey, his name is Jeffrey.
Mr. Boo Boo Cakes.
So, guys, before we get going, what have you been getting into narrative-wise?
Oh, man. Well, I watched, of course, like everybody, The Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Did you feel weird? There's a dorm on our college campus called Hill House, and now I can't. Every time I see that show, I'm like, haha.
yeah. My first year at our school, I was in Hill House.
Yeah.
And the cab driver, as he was giving me a ride over, didn't know the name Hill House. He goes, "Oh, you mean Hell House." Great way to start the year.
Oh.
Wait. So anyway, continue about the Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, it's a great show. I hope it's sort of just kept at one season, even though they're just probably gonna milk it. Really cool sort of like narrative structure. And it's not the type of like spooky, scary show that you sit there and someone jumps out at you. It's a lot of subtle things going on in the background, or things you don't notice that are happening until you either do a rewatch or just go see it. I don't want to say anything.
Sounds good. Even though it's not Halloween anymore. Still
It's
time to be
always
scared.
Halloween if you're dead inside, right, Cam?
Yes, you're correct. It is Halloween every day for me.
So what have you been watching or reading or listening to?
Okay, well, that's a
Reading.
lot of questions. First of all, I read The Secret History, which is one of the greatest books I've ever read,
Ooh.
by Donna Tartt. It is a dark academia murder, not who done it, but why done it. It's
Why
very
done
good.
it?
It's very good, yeah, because you know who dies on the first page. Like that's not the mystery.
Mm.
But it's very, very good, and I want everyone to read it because I am obsessed. Watching wise, I finally got into The Good Place,
Finally.
which I love
Finally.
now.
Oh my God,
I love
Cameron.
it so much. And also, I've been watching a lot of Love Island, which
What's
is
Love
a
Island?
very trashy British reality show that's
hell
kind of like
yes.
The Bachelor in Paradise,
But on an
but for
island.
6 weeks, and they're in a Spanish villa, and it's amazing.
Wait.
It's kind of like X on the Beach. You know X on the Beach?
Yeah, but they're not it's just like strangers, and they have to stay coupled up. And
That's
the prize is
crazy.
£50,000 to like the winning couple.
That's a lot of weight.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I love those trashy shows too. Like I said, X on the Beach. Are You the One?
Oh my God, I love
You-
Are You the
Oh
One?
my God, it's my jam.
This season was kind of a mess.
Oh yeah, but that's why you watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
We've talked about The Bachelor before. Guys, did you hear that the Bachelor Mansion burned down?
It didn't though. It's
Wait,
safe.
what? I heard it burned
was
down.
fake news.
That's a relief.
Damn,
I was
fake
really
fire news.
I was really nervous when it burned down. But then it didn't. So we're good. Although my family was evacuated up teen times, as Billy Joel would say.
Wow. Fires, they're real.
Yarp.
Yep.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Peter. Well,
That's
not
what I've been.
entirely true. I mean, that just happened, right? Peter, what have you been watching?
I've just been watching a lot of Smokey the Bear cartoons.
No, you haven't.
A lot of Smokey the Bear ads. No, but you know
Spooky
what
the
I've
Bear?
been watching that I could talk about is my roommate had never seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so I've been rewatching it, and it's just so good.
I'm 3 episodes in.
What?
Yeah, it's great. I just started last night.
have not watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh my God, guys, it's so good. And it's sort of like it is Michael Schur, so he created Parks and Rec, and it's in between Parks and Rec and The Good Place. And what all his comedies have that I just love is the characters are just so good to each other. Like,
Yeah.
people aren't dicks for no reason. Like, in so many sitcoms, people are just assholes because that's the way to make conflict. And he, like, figures out ways to have his characters genuinely like each other and enjoy each other's company. And, like, they can argue, but they don't have to be dicks about it all the time.
It's smart writing, and it's conflict without the sake of just having conflict.
Exactly.
Yep.
Plus, Terry Crews he's everything.
Oh, I love Terry Crews.
He's everything. The whole cast. So, we're going to get into it. If it's your first time listening, welcome. Welcome. I don't know why it's your first time. Well, actually, I do. We haven't in a while, so maybe you just like stumbled upon us. So go.
new.
Yeah,
We're
we're
newish.
fresh. But go listen to old episodes right now and then come back and listen to this one. But what we're going to do is we're going to tell narratively complex stories one line at a time, as we said. And how we're going to do that, we have some special little things we do, like...
Story pause.
Wait, what's that?
Story pause, Will, is when we need some sort of clarification on the story, or we just want to make fun of the person who just said something.
Sure.
So in the middle of whenever, we'll just say story pause.
And then
Make
after
fun of
that...
someone. And then if we want to get back into the story, then we'll say resume story.
Or story resume.
Thank you, Peter.
And then we also have another thing, which is well, what is it, Cameron?
It's when you bing someone.
Yeah.
And
What is a bing? What is this whole thing called, Cameron?
It's called a bing.
No, Cameron. It's been a while.
Microsoft presents Bing.
Cameron, I'm gonna leave this in so everyone knows how bad your memory is.
This is how long
I
it's
have an
been,
excellent
Peter.
memory, but I've forgotten. It's
We've
called
done
a
this
story
many-
mistake.
No story punishment, Cameron.
I feel like that.
I feel like we should bing her for this already.
It's in its own it's a story punishment. Like it's a punishment, just not knowing what's going on.
Yep.
Just making me.
Just making you,
Yeah.
deal with it.
Yeah.
So what is a story punishment, Cameron?
A story punishment is
I
when you
forget.
mess something up. It's when you either forget a detail or you say something wrong or maybe if you punch someone. I don't know. I think that would
That would work.
warrant a punishment. Yeah.
I don't know if that's a punishment so much as that would just it's part of the story.
More of a
pause.
privilege.
Yeah.
So yeah, what? So,
yeah,
what-
so
if you mess it up,
If you mess it up, then you will get banged.
bing.
Bang.
Like that, like Chandler and
Chenandler.
Chenandler, and then whoever gets banged the most at the end of the episode will have to do a story punishment,
Oh, I thought
and
you were
those
gonna say
options will be on Instagram.
or Facebook or Twitter. You can find us at Finish My Story Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and Finish Story Cast on Twitter. They use less letters in their name there, so that's why it's that. So sorry, but yeah, that sounds good. Let's get into it, guys. you're listening to this, hopefully if you're listening to this when it dropped, then it's almost Thanksgiving time. And if you're listening to it 4 days after it dropped, then it's already happened. Thanksgiving has happened.
Do people still wait for the drop? Is that like a thing? You like wait for the drop. It'll be good. Then just keep listening to the song.
I do. I still wait for the drop.
Cameron likes to drop it like it's hot.
Well, you're also living in the past
Pimp's
because
in
you're
the
a
crib,
ghost.
Ma. Yeah, that's true.
Like you're still in that like 1940s.
I'm still.
When they had the vaudeville drop, as they called it.
I love listening to that vaudeville drop. This is
So
Ghost
anyway.
Cameron on the podcast. Ready to do some improvisational comedy.
Pass me those nickels.
So anyway, what we're going to be doing is we're going to do something from a Thanksgiving movie. But wait, those don't exist.
But wait, there's none.
There's what's that? There's Freebirds, which is an animated film.
Classic.
Apparently, Jack and Jill takes place during Thanksgiving, the Adam Sandler classic film. So we decided, you know what? Let's go to the root of the holiday. The point of the holiday was people coming to America, and so we decided to do Pocahontas. Yeah, but then aside from that being kind of weird and maybe slightly racist, the first line of that is a song. So we decided to do the modern retelling of Pocahontas, Avatar.
Some would say it's more like the real, like when it happened. It looked like Avatar. It wasn't so much like Pocahontas.
Right.
It looked and felt more like Avatar.
Yeah, that's true. And that's also fitting because the first line is about veterans, and Veterans Day just happened. Salute to the veterans. Yeah.
Peter just saluted with 2 fingers like a Boy
did.
Scout.
Just so I know that sounded like he was being very sarcastic, but
No,
it
I
seemed
wasn't.
very earnest if you were watching him.
Yeah.
So
It really was, and I'm like,
sorry.
it's almost worse. Just how excited he got.
So who's gonna do the first line?
I mean, you're holding.
I'll
Yeah,
do it.
it's you,
I'll
Peter.
do the first line. Who's gonna go after me?
I can.
All right, Cameron will go, and then John, and then it's gonna continue in a circle. Usually we do a bit where we like pretend, what's gonna happen? We go on way too long about who goes next and blah blah blah, and we don't know. But we don't have time for the bit, so I'm just gonna keep this bit going instead.
Because it took way less time and was way less confusing.
Yep.
And far funnier.
Exactly. So let's do it. All right, here we go. When I was lying there in the VA hospital,
I heard a strange noise coming from my right.
But the bed was empty. No one was there.
perhaps it was the pillows making the noise.
I sat in silence, waiting to see if the noise would come again from the pillows.
But this time it did not come from the right. It did not come from the pillows. It came from
The ceiling.
Well, that makes sense, I thought. There is a second floor to this building. I don't know why a ceiling making noise would be ominous.
The door to my room opened, and a nurse in an old uniform walked in with a tray of food.
"Your food is here," she said. She had an old uniform, but was a very young, attractive lady.
What I thought was odd was that her hair was in victory rolls, even though this was 2018.
And did I mention that her uniform was old? Because I don't know that I did.
I started to think to myself, something feels off. And those sounds I heard earlier, they sounded kind of pre-war.
Where am I asked. Am I in some sort of pre-war hospital?
Hush now, hush. You hurt your head. Please, sit up. Eat your soup.
The German doctor suddenly at my right said.
You got a real headbanger going on, kid. Something happened to ya, said the saucy nurse at the foot of my bed.
I tried pushing myself up, but was immediately caught by the cast along my right leg.
Wait, you said I hurt my head, and now my leg is broken? What happened to me? Where am I? I know I'm at the VA hospital, but where?
Then the German doctor said to me that I was at the German VA hospital of 1921.
You're at the German VA hospital in 1921. Didn't you know?
I thought it was weird that she specified 1921. Especially because I thought it was 2018. So now I was double confused. Did she know I didn't know what year it was?
And I was about to get triple confused because then she said that they were celebrating the 25th anniversary of that hospital, hence the victory rolls in her hair.
Yes, the German VA hospital, 1921 Willoughby Street.
Oh, that makes sense, I said out loud.
So, just to clarify, this German VA hospital is on 1921 Willoughby Street. It's celebrating its 25th anniversary. It's the year 2018, but it was actually founded in the year 1993.
Story pause.
Oh my god, I'm
Wow.
25 years old. How did I not figure that out?
Math are hard, okay?
Literally the year you were born.
I was waiting for you to just make up a random date. The year's 2018, it's 25 years, and it was established in 1982.
Literally the year I was born. Oh no.
Now we're bragging, because Peter and I are dust.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's really, 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 really embarrassing. Especially if you saw how hard she was struggling with that. Really, just a look of terror on her face.
I mean, Peter did hold up the fingers, so I was waiting to see how long you'd let her just struggle on that.
I was so close though. I'd almost figured it out.
If I had a
think.
nickel. Again with nickels. Huh?
Ooh, double entendre. All right, we can get back.
Oh boy.
Story resume.
How hard did you hit your head? VA.
Well, I don't even remember hitting it, but why do you ask, Doctor?
Because you seem a little confused about things like simple math and dates.
And you hit your head so hard that you broke your leg.
And also, while you got all of the rest of the information correct, I probably should have asked you this earlier or pointed this out, but it's not 2018. It's
2019.
So then the hospital was established in 1994?
Yes.
Okay, I said. Sounds about right.
Try to think back. What was the last thing you could remember before waking up here, in the VA hospital, in Germany, on Willoughby Street?
I remember walking outside in Raleigh, North Carolina, noting how good the trees smelled at this time of year.
The time of year I'm referring to is autumn.
Or fall. I just don't like to be pessimistic because, right, I fell.
But that was autumn of 2018, and I don't remember anything until, well, now. And I'm not even a veteran. What am I doing in this hospital?
This was the closest hospital we could take you to, said the doctor.
The nurse, still standing there, nodding along with the story, started to eat the soup herself.
Oh, I forgot you had that soup for me, I said. I hope it tastes as good as it looks.
It does, she said.
Still eating the soup?
But how is this the closest hospital you could get me to from Raleigh, North Carolina?
Well, that is a long and complicated story, said the doctor.
So I'll start telling you now because I do want to go home at a reasonable hour.
The story is, we found you right down the street from here, in Germany. I guess it wasn't really that long of a story.
The doctor, as it turned out, got his synonyms and antonyms mixed up a lot. So what he thought was short was actually long. He was bad with opposites.
Just ask his wife. It's a really long. It's a long story, or actual long story. But we're not gonna get into it. It's, you know, let's get into it.
One time with his wife, he told her he was really angry with her. She only spoke English, and English was his second language. And she got upset. Why are you angry with me? And he was like, why are you upset that I'm angry with you? I love you. And then she was like, oh, you're doing it again. You actually mean you're happy with me. And then, you know, it's the whole thing.
She eventually got used to it and understood that usually he was saying the opposite of what he meant.
The doctor dipped his finger into the bowl of soup and tried it himself.
Tastes like medicine.
Story pause. As in, like, cherry flavored?
No, as in like, well, no.
This
As
is
in
like a
medicine.
rhubarb soup, like Thanksgiving?
Yeah,
I'm not saying the soup tastes like medicine. There's a taste of medicine in the soup.
there's a...
Oh.
That's... Well, it explains
Oh.
why the nurse was eating it? Okay. The story resume.
The soup tasted like medicine because there were drugs in it.
But of course, I didn't know that. And that's why I grabbed a spoon for myself.
And as I was about to eat, the nurse passed out and hit the ground. And the doctor looked down at her and said, wait, you grabbed the soup meant for him?
The nurse had hit her head so hard she broke her leg.
I tried to get to my feet, but my non-broken leg, my left leg, was handcuffed to the bed.
Oh, you. When I awake from what I'm sure to pass out, you're going to be in such trouble, the doctor said.
And then the doctor passed out from that one spoon of medicine soup drugs he had.
It was in that moment that it made me think of a movie I had seen many years ago where a man was locked in a room, didn't know why he was there, and to his right was only a saw. I believe the movie was called Bones. Starring Zooey Deschanel.
Story pause. It's
Emily
Emily
Deschanel.
Deschanel.
No, I know, and it's also Bones, the TV show, so I was trying to be as wrong as possible.
Oh, well, you succeeded.
Yeah.
Sorry, starring Caleb Deschanel.
Story resume.
Story pause. Do you know who Caleb Deschanel is?
Is that a real person?
Is he
It
their
sounded like a
brother?
sauce.
He is their dad, who is a cinematographer and has been for over like 200 movies.
Important question. Does he have bangs?
He invented bangs.
Story resume.
That's my job. Story resume.
But there was no saw for me to cut my handcuffed leg or the handcuffs off with. But there was the doctor's tools.
He had a stethoscope, a tongue depressor, and a stress ball.
Exactly the materials I needed to MacGyver up some shit to get out of this lock.
And so I did. I could bore you with the amazing details of how I broke a lock with a tongue depressor and a stethoscope, but I don't feel the need to. Just believe me, I did it.
And it was awesome.
It was then that I saw the file sticking out from the doctor's belongings. Classified, it said, and it had my name on it.
V.A. Peterson. That was my name.
That's right. My name was Vitrolius Anthony Peterson.
But I just go by VA.
Which normally isn't confusing, but in this specific instance where I was in a VA hospital, it was quite a predicament, let me tell you.
I read through my file, which didn't take long because all it said on it was drug with soup.
Everything else in the file had been redacted. It wasn't just your regular classified medical document. There was something they were keeping from me and HIPAA.
So, I grabbed the doctor's coat, put it on, put some glasses that were sitting nearby for some reason on my face, and left the room.
I did this while limping, of course, because I had a broken leg. But I did it. It was good.
But when I opened the door to the next room, a surprise awaited me.
It was the same room, but different?
This one had a nurse in a poodle skirt doing the hand jive.
There was an old-timey cranky radio in the corner playing on a big sound brass bell.
This room was too much for me, so I pushed my way through past the poodle-skirted nurse and into the next room, where I found
A large man. And just a large man in a room, an empty room.
He seemed startled at the sight of me. He, too, a doctor, holding a board, did not seem to recognize me. "Are you new?" he said.
Why, yes, I disguised my voice. I started yesterday.
Story pause. Why is he disguising his voice?
Because he maybe
It's
knows the guy
important
by
for
the
disguise.
voice. Yeah, voices are part of a disguise.
Voices are important.
Come on, John.
Not when you're going, yes, I am doctor.
Listen, I'm not the character. I'm not.
This is true. This
totally-
is VA. This is
Yeah,
VA
this
story.
is VA. He's just inhabiting the character.
Yeah.
Vit. Story resume.
Could you point me to the exit? I said in my disguised voice.
I could. It's over there, he pointed.
We have similar voices, I said to him. We should become friends when I get back.
And with that, I ran out of the room towards the exit.
Gustav Krilby was a very lonely man who, in that moment, thought he had made a friend. His voice had not been very good to him as a child, for he had always had that low voice. But in this moment, he thought, just maybe, he'd have a friend, and so he waited patiently for the return of VA, who would not return.
I do feel bad about that all these years later. But I had to escape.
I can only hope poor old Gustav eventually made a friend. I doubt it, though.
In fact, I can say pretty surely that he didn't, because we are all these years in the future, and I learned his name from his gravestone.
Anyway, back in the year that I thought was 2019, I pushed my way through this next exit door to find one final room, similar to the first and second.
It was small, old. A gramophone played in the corner.
And somehow, the nurse and the doctor were both passed out on the ground in this room.
This weird, trippy hospital that clearly seems like it's some sort of mind fuck place really needs to figure out what decade it's in.
By the way, the doctor and the nurse in this room were wearing bell bottoms, so I was pretty sure this was like the 70s, maybe?
But also half of the charm of this hospital is that it tends to span all decades. You don't know when or where you are, except that you're in Germany, which isn't very safe sounding.
And the gramophone really was what took this room from its authenticity.
It should have been a record player. Didn't make much sense to have a gramophone in there.
But they like to be able to make the pun grandma Nazi.
So, as I stepped over the passed out corpses, I don't know if you call them corpses, passed out bodies? I don't know if they were dead or alive, of the doctor and nurse, I opened the final exit door.
And as I opened that door, Aha's Take on Me started blaring down the street.
I think that's all we can say before we get sued.
I wanted to go closer to the music, echoing through the alleys of Germany. but I had to know why I had been in that hospital. What had happened in the months I had been unconscious? Why was I there? The answers were behind me.
As I ran through the street, afraid, alone, confused, I passed a newspaper stand. And the magazines and newspapers were all in English.
And they were all from Raleigh, North Carolina.
And they spanned many decades. There were many Time magazine covers, and I could not tell which was current.
What year is it? I asked the man at the magazine stand, trying to do my best Robin Williams Jumanji meme impression.
What year is it? Said the man who was a robot. It is the year 2105.
Would you like to know more?
Yes.
You have time traveled. You were in our time traveling hospital. Welcome to the future.
Would you like a cronut? The official pastry of the future.
Do you have raspberry jelly filled?
No, only strawberry.
My fears had become reality. The one flavor I hated was the only flavor available in the current future. I had to find a way back.
You look distressed, the robot empathized.
Yeah, I said. I hate strawberry cronuts. I want to go back to 2018 where I can get a raspberry cronut.
I do not have a time machine, but I do have soothing fingers of back massage capability. Would you like to feel more?
No, I said. Well, then would you like me to order you a raspberry cronut from the stall down the street? The robot asked.
Suddenly, the future wasn't looking so bad.
I heard a commotion behind me and the VA doors opened. The doctor and the nurse stumbled out, looking around, probably for me.
Thankfully, they didn't recognize me with my coat and glasses, and as they came out, I shouted, in my disguised voice.
Story pause. Because he speaks German. Okay, story resume.
The robot saw the doctors coming and said, "Oh no, I will save you and hide you from the murder doctors."
The robot put the newsstand into close mode, as in closed mode, and the covers went in front and kept me concealed.
As I stood there in this newsstand with the robot attendant and my strawberry, not raspberry cronut, suddenly the memory of signing up for time travel came rushing back.
It was a cold day in autumn. My wife had just left me for the cronut maker down the street. I wanted to get out of my time, go somewhere else, so I signed up for the Time Traveling League.
It was all so clear now. I remembered every detail of before and what had happened to my vessel.
It was a pretty straightforward trip through time. I just had hit my head the day before, and they tell you not to time travel if you've got head injuries, and I guess now I understood why.
But ultimately, I did time travel and I made it, so I guess that worked out.
But the vessel was damaged. It crashed into a family of doctors. It doesn't matter. But then I found myself in the hospital. I have to find my vessel.
I said to myself.
And so I set off to do that.
When the doctor and nurse had moved on and the danger was no longer present, but I did feel the eyes and heart of the robot as I left.
You are the best friend I've ever had, it said.
Come on, robot. You can help me find my vessel, I said.
But my stand, who will sell the Time magazines?
Set up an honor system with a Venmo account.
That sounds like it will work, and no one will take advantage of me.
Let us go. Excelsior!
Story pause. Aww.
Aww.
A little tribute?
Little chibby tribs. Story resume.
Story pause. Can we just agree that Stanley is the best adverb of all time?
Wow.
I guess you're in the proper noun boat. Okay.
Wow.
Story resume.
Robot, before we go any further, is there a name I could call you instead of Robot? I asked.
Yes, you could call me by my name, and I will call you by yours.
But I never told you my name. How do you know my name?
You're wearing a name tag, you silly Billy.
Or should I say, you silly vitriolus Anthony Peterson?
But this doctor jacket that I put on did not have my name on it. Something was amiss. And it wasn't a lady robot.
You look confused still. Look, under your jacket, there's your name tag.
The robot had x-ray vision, which makes sense because he's a robot, so I really didn't question it any further than that.
And he was right. I did have my name tag under the jacket. I did hit my head really hard.
Sorry, yes, but you said call me by my name. What is your name? That's what I was asking you earlier. Tell me right now, please.
Okay.
Story pause. Cameron is passing the buck hard. Does not want to name this robot.
I've named like everyone else.
There's only one other person you've named.
Yeah, so I named him.
So literally everyone else.
You didn't need to name him. His name was VA. He was already named. Story resume.
My name is Reginald. It is an anagram for...
Story pause. I'll have you know I was going to break it down into an anagram anyway.
Nice.
Wait, can I bing you guys? Because you both just used the wrong word. It's not an anagram. It's an acronym.
Acronym. It's, when I
Boo.
I could
it's not so much a bing as much
Boo.
as it's just we're stupid.
Boo.
And hey, I wouldn't have said anagram. I would have said acronym, but he got anagram in my head.
Grammar Nazis over here. Let's go do some math. Let's resume.
Robot engineered, generating intense news and liquor distribution.
Reginald.
Well, Reginald, no time to figure out anything more about ourselves. Let's go find my vessel, and I need to return home to North Carolina.
Well, you are in North Carolina. You are still in Raleigh. You've just traveled through time, not space. And would you like some liquor?
Hell yeah, I said. Pour up, bitches. And we got drunk.
Unfortunately, Reginald was solely a Manischewitz distributing robot. It was mostly sugar, but it's what I needed.
So Reginald and I drunkenly stumbled our way back to the VA hospital. The German VA hospital, quote unquote, and began our search.
It was a long search, but it felt like it flew by.
Because time flies by when you're having fun and surrounded by loved ones, like Reginald. And when you can drink and have merry conversation with the ones that you care for. Isn't that what we can all give thanks for?
And after our long search, I found my vessel and a little stand behind it that said, German VA Hospital, an intense escape room experience.
It felt good to know that escape rooms still existed almost 100 years into the future. I really thought that was a fad.
Before I could head back to the vessel, I needed to bring my travel companion, old Pillowface. I left him in my bed.
I realize this is the first time I'm telling you about old Pillowface, and that's my fault in this storytelling, but he was very important to me.
So I ran back really quickly and I grabbed him because the doctors were gone and I could get him very quickly without that being a problem. And old Pillowface was with me again.
But it was important that he was, because I don't travel anywhere without Pillowface. And he's like, people would call him a security blanket, but he's not a blanket because he's a pillow. But it's something about when I just put my head on him, it's like a hug on my head. And I knew that I would need its emotional support and also the structural support on my head because of how hard I hit my head.
And so I made my way back to my vessel, set it back to 2018. But before I went back, I decided, you know what? I think I'm going to like it here. So I stepped out of the vessel as it disappeared.
Reginald cheered when he saw the decision I had made. Hey, Reg, I said. How about a raspberry cronut?
Ha, 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 ha. We are friends, said Reginald.
And that was the strangest trip of my life. Thank you for listening to this episode of Moth's Strange Trips. Our next storyteller coming to the stage is Gleep Glorp. Thank you for your time.
The end.
Of that story, now we have Gleep Glorp.
Nope.
No.
Which Gleep Glorp is Rick and Morty?
I don't know. It just sounds like an alien name to me.
Sounds like a
I
Justin
think it is in
Roiland
Rick and
creation.
Morty, yeah.
Really?
Something like that.
Sounds like it. Hey, we told the story within a story. We told the story. We were storytelling in storytelling.
Yo, dog, I heard you like stories, so I incepted you.
Slaps roof of car. This baby can fit so many stories in it.
Tell that bitch a story. Bitches love stories. Are we just doing
The
older and
memes?
older memes here?
Yes, yeah.
Hey, that was fun.
What if I told you a story?
Oh.
Okay, any questions?
That was the
about that
Morpheus
story?
meme.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Any questions? Yeah, a lot. A lot of
I
questions.
think the whole story was just a big question.
Can I say actually one thing?
No.
Okay.
What is it?
I've been watching Homecoming, which is actually the thing I meant to bring up,
haven't.
and that show is so good, and it's based on a podcast, and basically it's a big mystery that's taking place inside a VA hospital. And half the way through this, I was like, "Wait a minute, we're unintentionally, especially as the only one who's watched that show, like, or I haven't listened to the podcast, but we're doing that."
Except not, because we have robots and time travel
And
and...
cronuts.
Granted, I don't know anything about
I
Homecoming.
don't know that there isn't time travel
other
involved
than it's like
in
a
this
lot of
show.
aspect ratio changing.
I've never
is a
heard
lot
of
of
that
that.
show.
It's really good. It's on Amazon Instant Video. It's really, really good. Really well shot.
Is it Sam Esmail's secret emails? Is that what it's about?
Maybe.
Or Sam Esmail's snails?
I don't know what it's based on.
Sam Esmail's snail mails.
It's based on a podcast. That's all I know.
I'm a
And
fan
it's a
of his.
mystery.
It's what?
It's sort of a mystery. Like nothing is happening,
I thought you
but I
said
have
it's
no idea
history.
what's happening.
So basically, we just recreated that unknowingly.
Yes.
So what you're saying is,
Julia Roberts, where you at?
don't answer that, Julia. I know you listen.
What did you guys learn today?
Oh boy. I learned my decades and also that 25 is 1993 to 2018 currently.
Literally your age.
That's the most embarrassing part.
I learned, and frankly, I'm relieved, that a love between a man and a robot is not frowned upon and is accepted. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Beautiful.
I've learned that don't be hasty to judge the future, you know? Because they may have raspberry cronuts and escape rooms there after all.
But was he in an escape room, or
No.
was he in...
The VA hospital
Was an
an
escape
escape room. And the rest of it, he was still in the normal future. That's why the time periods were all different, and there were doctors and locks and stuff. Cameron got it.
I got it.
Well, I think it's sort of... It's not something to either get or not get. It's like Total Recall, where you're not sure if the whole thing was implanted into him or if it was real.
I've heard he was totally recalling it, yeah.
Huh? Well, yeah, we can remember it for you wholesale. But in this case, are they creating the reality in his escape room? That he's escaping from his wife who's left him, and that he is just creating this reality around him? So, because it's a lot easier
Also,
for some
did they
people.
actually break his leg?
No, I think he just broke his leg when he hit his head.
Oh, okay.
Naturally.
I was going to explain that, and then you had the nurse break her leg when she hit her head. And I was like, okay, that's just how physics works in this universe, I guess. Yeah, that's fun. We didn't have any bings today, so no punishment.
I think Cameron got her own punishment in a way, struggling through that grade school level math.
Man, barely even grade school level.
Yeah. That wasn't the best.
Next time I'm going to bring a word, like a math problem, but with apples. And
Nice.
We'll figure it out together.
Do we get to eat the apples?
We do not, because they will be not real apples.
Aw.
They'll just be hypothetical apples.
Cameron, I'll bring you real apples. Don't worry.
Thanks.
Why did you make that so sensual? I'm very,
Thanks.
very
Bring me
uncomfortable.
an apple.
Oh my god.
That wasn't meant to be sensual. I just tried to whisper in a kind way.
It's impossible to talk about apples without being sexual.
My snake will bring you a pomegranate.
Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. You can find us on our social media platforms at Finish My Story Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and Finish Story Cast on Twitter. Thanks for listening again. I'm Peter.
I'm John.
And I'm Cameron.
Have a great rest of your mid-morning water cooler break. I don't know how you fit this whole thing in at that time. It really seems like you should be getting back to work by now. But if you still have more time left, I hope you enjoy it. Really, it's a lot of standing and just sort of like tapping on a roof of something and drinking out of paper cups. But listen, good on you. It's the only time that you get away with the boss and Sharon and her goddamn emails. So have a great rest of that. Bye.
Bye.